Hello there, I'm Mike Robinson with BlackHawk Paramotor USA, and today's Paramotor tips and tricks, we're going to discuss what's the proper size glider and engine for you. Whenever we receive emails or phone calls here, there's three questions that we ask the person who's interested in getting involved in PPG, or powered paragliding. One question is, how old are you? The next question is, what do you weigh? And the next question is, what altitude do you expect to fly from? What I mean by what altitude do you expect to fly from, it's not the altitude that you expect to fly to, it's where you're going to take off and land from. What is that elevation? Here at BlackHawk, we sell to a wide array of ages, weights, and physical conditions. Some of our oldest guys are in their 70s. Some of the youngest people, 16 to 18. So it's important that they pick or they're given advice on choosing the right gear. That includes your glider as well as the motor. Let's start off with age first. Hypothetically, our average age person is 55 and weighs 220 pounds that buys powered paragliding equipment. Predominantly quads at that age, but there are a number of foot launchers as well. Age. Your processor doesn't work quite as fast as it used to. That's number one. Two, you're not in the condition of a 20-year-old. You may think you are, but you're not. We're kind of like doctors here. You need to be truthful with us. We're going to be truthful with you. Foot launch at an older age is more difficult. We'll be honest with you and explain that. We'll explain why. When you pick an engine or a glider for an older person, less is more, meaning a smaller engine, perhaps one with a clutch, and two, a bigger glider. Bigger gliders are easier for the older guys to launch. They'll get off the ground easier, and they'll get back on the ground softer. You'd be surprised at how many people show up out here to get retrained after having purchased their gear from somewhere else, and they show up with a tiny glider, and we watch them circle the field until they run out of gas and they have to land. That's not good. That's not fun. This sport's all about fun, which means talk about that great takeoff you just had and that super sweet two-step landing, low and slow. Hey, if you're a younger guy, that's great. You're in better physical condition. Your processor is ticking away at a really high speed or rate of speed. You can fly a little smaller glider, and you can fly pretty much any motor. Let's talk about the motors for a moment. Bigger motor only means a higher rate of climb. It means more fuel consumption, more noise, more vibration. I don't care which way you look at it or who tells you this or who tells you that. That's the facts. It weighs more. More vibration, more noise, and a lot more fuel consumption. So what is the purpose of a bigger engine? When we give you advice here, your bigger engine is, one, you weigh a lot. Two, you're flying from a high elevation. The taller the elevation or the higher the elevation, the bigger the motor. There's less oxygen, you're robbed of horsepower. So you have to go to a motor with more horsepower. Secondly, you go to a bigger glider. At elevation, less air, bigger glider. All of this is simply using your common sense, and it works. Okay, I know we're trying to cover a wide array of subject here because this is a rather detailed subject. But I'll continue on, and if you have any questions whatsoever, of course, call me or somebody else in the office, and we'll answer all your questions. Okay, so to cover large glider versus small glider once again. Smaller gliders will land a lot faster. Your takeoff distance, the time it takes for you to get off the ground, will be elongated. Some manufacturers might say that's not true. It is true. We make a glider, the Recon, that's as fast as any glider out there. It will take longer to get off the ground, and you will come in like a hot potato. Great glider, but not for a beginner or an intermediate pilot, okay? Bigger gliders will get you off the ground quicker, easier. They'll put you back on the ground at a much slower rate of speed and a lot softer. That equates to what? Equates to safety and fun. Okay, so your age, 40, to 55, 60 years old. Hypothetically, you weigh 200 pounds. 200 pounds, we're going to put you, depending on your altitude, if you're like below 1,000 feet, we're going to put you on a size 30 glider. Not a 28, but a 30. That will get you off the ground easily, put you back on the ground softly, still very agile, very maneuverable. You're going to get a lot of what 99% of everybody wants is the float. They just want to float around and feel great about what they're doing, go out and explore. It's all about exploration and fun. If you're around 160 pounds, for instance, then maybe 170 pounds, let's say 160, 170, we're going to put you on a size 28 glider if you're within that age range. If you're younger, let's say very early 40s, 30s, 20s, put you on a 25. If you're in a windy area such as Florida, we drop down one size on all of those ranges. If you're in your upper 50s, 60s, or early 70s, we're going to keep you on the same size glider. You're just going to have to fly when there's a lot less wind, early in the morning or later in the afternoon. Okay, we're talking about proper engine sizing. Use your common sense. There are so many recommendations that are given out there that we hear of on a daily basis that make absolutely no sense. We carry a wide array of gliders and glider sizes and a wide array of engines and engine sizes. There's a reason for that. If you're 150 pounds or less, you fly a 90. If you are 220 pounds or so or less, remember we're below 1,000 feet, fly a 125. Less is more. If you're bigger than 200 on up, then fly a 175 Talon. You have a lot of choices here, but bigger is not better. A bigger engine only gives you a higher rate of climb. That's it. If we fly an average between 4 feet and 250 feet off the ground, why do I care whether you're flying a Talon and I'm on a 125 and you hit 250 feet 7 seconds before I do? You see that mountain off in the distance? I'm going to fly there and back, and you're going to stop at the Shell and get gas. Another thing for you to think about is we also get questions here from people who say, hey, I don't want the beginner thing because I'm going to outgrow that. Or I'm going to advance quickly. In this sport, there really isn't beginner and advanced. A 125 motor is a 125 motor. After a year or two, you're not going to say, well, I want a more acro-minded motor. There isn't a more acro-minded motor, okay? The motor is used to get you off the ground, propel you through the air, and send you or take you where you want to go. That's it. There's weight shift cages, but honestly, weight shift is where the arms move up and down, and you can use less toggle input, by the way. A lot of people don't feel comfortable on weight shift. They like the higher hang points because they're more stable. They can let go of the control. You're not getting a lot of feedback from your glider. So is there an advanced motor? Not really. So the motor that you buy or we would recommend to you now is going to be a motor you can fly for many years. Gliders, slightly different story, but you going to a more advanced glider in the beginning is not smart. The Velocity Edge is used by many SIV clinics, which is SIV maneuver clinics. There's teaching you how to stall your glider, spiral your glider, collapse your glider, etc. It's a fantastic glider, extremely safe, and quite agile actually. That's a great glider for anybody to learn on, and most never get rid of their glider. Their girlfriends will train on it, their wives or their kids or their friends. That will be the glider that person says, hey, I learned on this glider. This is the best glider for you to learn on. That's what you're going to use. So purchasing an Edge is not an issue. More advanced gliders are going to mean what? A little more difficult to take off, a little bit more difficult to land. There's really not any other benefits to them when you're first getting started. I've tried to explain the reason for a wide array of equipment. You know, gliders, for instance, we go from a size 18 to a 42. We even have a size 36. Why do we have a size 36? Last year we got 9 guys flying that weighed over 290 pounds. Those are big boys. They need big gliders. We came up with a big glider. Another thing is altitude. Altitude, we sell to people flying in excess of 7, 8, 9, 10,000 feet. You need a bigger glider. Somebody small like me at 160 would be flying a 33 glider, 33 square meter glider at 8,000 feet. So it's important to have the proper size equipment. Many people that you'll call will try to sell you what they have. Might be one motor. It might be 3 or 4 different sizes of gliders, none of which are large enough for you. I hope you found this video informative. If you have any questions whatsoever, 209-786-7899 or email mike@paratoys.com. Remember, we have a little slogan here. It's your time. What are you going to do with it?
And action.
Will you flip me off?
You said put a finger up.
Action.
You said put a finger up when I'm ready, dude. I'm just doing what you're telling me.
Hi, I'm Mike Robinson with BlackHawk Paramotor USA.
One more time, I was laughing right at the beginning.
Okay, so. Alright. Lap that up.